Programs. This is Paul here. Today we're going to talk about Windows default programs. If you've ever been curious as to why the programs start up automatically when you double click on something, like in this case the Windows Photo Viewer brings up a smiley image from a smiley JPEG, a JPG file, or the like. A GIF here, it brings up Microsoft Office 2010. Different programs produce different results. And this again is Microsoft Office 2010. So, based on the old format from DOS, there was a file name dot extension, and when it carried over to Windows, they used the extension to associate with the program so that you could just double click on something and have it start up an application of the program. There are defaults, and we're going to cover those today and how you can change them if you want. I tend to like right-clicking the mouse key to give me a list of things that I can do. I can preview it, I can do some other options here, I can edit it, and down here I have an open with option. Now it gives me a list here of all the programs that Microsoft thinks will open this JPEG up satisfactorily. So the Microsoft Office 2010, it should open that up just fine, yep. And we'll go back and try another one. And the photo gallery. Ooh, on a different page, there we go. Photo gallery. Now, let's go see how these work in the control panel. This is the category view, which is the high level in the control panel, and what we're looking for is under Programs, Default Programs. Now I tend to like going in through the icons view because it gives me everything in an alphabetical order, and it's easier to remember than bury down one more level using that categories view. So there's Default Programs, and there's 4 sections in here. Now this one I've covered in a previous video, not that one, this one. Auto play, where you can set different options for when you plug in something like a CD, a DVD, or a flash memory card or something like that. You can have it ask me every time, take no action, or choose any one of these and just save those options. I'm not going to cover that one today because that's been covered before, but these other three, like set your default programs, change autoplay settings, and set program access and computer defaults, we're going to cover. Now, here's the default programs. It'll give you a list of the programs on this computer. If I click on any one of these, like WordPad, I can set this program as a default down the bottom here, or I can choose defaults for this program. Now, these defaults are the extension types. As you can see, docx, ODT, RTF, and TXT. Typically WordPad, which comes with Microsoft Windows, would open an RTF file or a TXT file comfortably. I haven't tried it with a docx. Obviously it may or may not work. I don't think it would work. WordPad is a very old program. It's been around forever, and I don't think they've modified it very much. And the same for something like QuickTime. Now QuickTime can handle a lot of formats. This is all the audio-visual formats that are available. As you can see, the grayed out ones are the ones that QuickTime is currently handling. There's obviously the QTI and QTIF and various other ones. .pic. That's what QuickTime is set up to handle on this computer. Now Paint and Photo Gallery and Office, where is it? Video Pad Editor. Oh, there, Windows Photo Viewer, that's another one there. And it's set up to handle the JPEGs and Windows Media Photo. Now you can check on these, you can checkbox these if you know it works. You can force it to open a GIF in this program rather than the one it's already defaulted to. Associate a file type or protocol with a program. It takes a few seconds to load this particular option. And here we have all the extensions that Windows knows about. Now, it will be some defaults that it will have when it comes out of the box, and some will have been installed with software. As you can see, it's got lots here. Now, they're in alphabetical order right now, so for example, there's the 3GP audio video, and that would be opened up in the Windows Media Player. Now, I'm going to sort by current default. So now you can see that, for example, Adobe Premiere Pro has a list of various dot extensions. As we go down the list, you can see Microsoft Access has some there. I don't think I have that actually installed on this computer, but it seems to know about it. Microsoft Excel I do have in this computer, and it obviously has the XLS and the XLSX formats. And let's go find, oh, there's Nero Showtime. That was something that came with this computer, and there's some types that it would handle, a dot wave file, etc. Notepad will open up a whole ton of different types of files. QuickTime Player, we saw that earlier. This is all the types that are associated with QuickTime. There's some unknown applications there. I mean, I've never seen a .hxf file, which is a Microsoft Help Include file, apparently. There's the Windows Media Player, and these are all the types that are associated with the Media Player. Now you can click on one of these, and then you can say Change Program. And I don't think you can do it in this screen, but typically, yeah, it's not going to let me do it here. This is more of a, yeah, it's not going to let me change it here. This is more of a browse option. But if you really wanted to change it, you could actually go into here, right click, go Open With, go past this list to the bottom where it says Choose the Default Program. And now you've got an editable box, and you can choose any one of these programs, or if you want, you can choose from another list of extension programs down here. If you can't find it, you can always go off, click Browse. If you know where the executable program is, you can go find it and add it to this list and then use it as a default. Always use the selected program to open this kind of file. So whatever I highlight will become the default if I say OK. So that's how you would change it in the Windows Explorer, and that's how we can view it in here. And as I say, go to this whole list of different applications here. Now, this one's a bit of a weird one. I don't recommend you go in here and mess around with this one at all, but this is Set Program Access and Computer Defaults. Now, it's set as custom in this computer because I have things like Google Chrome and Mozilla Firefox installed instead of the default Internet Explorer, as well as the default Internet Explorer. Now, this computer is, I believe, still has Internet Explorer as the default. I don't change basic defaults like that for one reason, is that is Microsoft Windows gets upset if you change the default away from the Internet Explorer. So I tend to start Google Chrome manually or Firefox manually rather than change this. It goes back to the days when we had Netscape, the original browser you had to pay for. It had a lot of problems back in those days. There was a back and forth between Netscape and Microsoft Windows, and every time you did an update with Microsoft to Microsoft Windows, Netscape would suddenly stop working unexpectedly, or wouldn't work properly. It would hang or something like that, and people began to think that Microsoft was actually deliberately sabotaging it because they wanted everybody to use Internet Explorer. Internet Explorer is integrated into Windows, not something that should be the case, and they were told, I think they had their wrists slapped over that one. But since then it's become, it's still a game. Google Chrome seems to get away with it very nicely. I'm finding my favorite Mozilla Firefox is being troublesome lately, but as it gets to be more and more used by people, I get a feeling that it's starting to be a problem to Windows. Won't go down that path because I've got no evidence one way or the other, except I noticed on a couple of my computers it tends to hang, and most of my computers are running Windows 7 with all the updates. Now this has a series of defaults for web browser, email program, media player, and I think, yeah, instant messaging and virtual machine for Java. Now there's nothing installed, so it's just going to say use my current instant messaging program. There isn't one. And here we've got media player, use my current media player. I have it set to the Windows media player as a default. It doesn't show it here, but that's what it is. And I have Outlook on this one. And let's go shrink that down. If we go to Microsoft Windows, it would default to, if I clicked on it, to Internet Explorer, Microsoft Outlook, and Windows Media Player. And enable at QuickTime, Windows Media Center, and Windows Media Player. Okay, as I say, this is a bit of a confusing one. And non-Microsoft programs, it only allows me to choose the web browser, as being Google Chrome or Firefox. So, not sure really what you would want to change in here over and above what's already there. So I would not go in there and forage around in there unless you really want to make some changes. These file types appear and set your default programs are some areas you can look at if you have a problem with an application or applications and some conflicts between file types. If you've just installed a graphics program and it's taken away your bitmap default from Paint, then you may have to go back in and reset it to Paint. But know that if you do that, then the program you've just installed will no longer open it up as a default. You'll have to go into the program, the new application, and open up BMP files manually from inside the program, because double-clicking on them was obviously going to start Paint up, not the new application. So there you have it really. It's not very complicated. We don't usually go in there unless something happens when you install or deinstall a program, and your file types no longer are associated correctly. Then you go in there, and I wouldn't even go in so much as use this option here to right click and manually change it this way. Like I've had to do that with PDF files, Adobe PDF. I had Adobe Acrobat and Adobe PDF, and I tend to like PDF over Acrobat. I don't have a need to edit, although I have Acrobat installed. I don't use it very often, and so when it gets to a PDF I tend to just want to view it. So I had to change the default from Acrobat, which is what happened when I installed it, was it changed the PDF to go to Acrobat rather than the reader. So I just changed it back again. That's just about it. Hopefully this has been useful, and you can have some fun messing around with these, but there are some buttons that set things back to defaults. And see you later through some sunglasses, and hope you have a happy day.